some nerd power. It's the Falcon Paladin Hour, a podcast by Falcon Paladin and Somicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie, talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello and happy podcast day, Falcon Paladin.
Hello and happy podcast today as well to you, Somicron.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yes, quite sweet, very sweet. People who know me say that I'm sweet all the time.
So sweet. We could put you in a cup of coffee and it'll be just right.
I was going to say I'm so sweet that I would ruin a cup of coffee, but I think your idea is good too.
Okay. You've never had coffee, have you? You're just like, yeah, I'm not going to try it. No.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not pretty much. That is accurate.
What about
yes.
like a tiramisu?
I guess.
It's a coffee dessert. It's also got liqueur
Yeah.
in it, so it's...
It has the cure in it?
No, liqueur, as in like alcohol as well. So it's a two
Yeah.
no-nos for you.
Right. I mean, feel like I've had a tiramisu.
Okay.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, boy, I've sure eaten that before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, ladyfinger pastries dipped in coffee, whipped mixture of egg yolk, sugar. What the heck is mascarpone?
I believe that's the liqueur.
It's a soft Italian acid-set cream cheese.
Yep.
And
Residual
then flavored with
tartic acid
cocoa
from
powder.
the bottom or sides of a barreled wine. Yeah, that's where it gets the alcohol. From mascarpone.
Man, cooking's weird, dude. They're like, what should we do with this leftover stuff on the edges of this wine barrel? Let's try it in a dessert.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people did in the way back when. They just were like, hey,
Yeah.
I left these pickles in a barrel. Well, I left these cucumbers in some juice for 6 months, and now we have these things that are called pickles.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the first time, like how they made cheese was they just like put milk inside the like stomach of a baby cow or something they've killed. Like weird stuff, man. But boy, golly, did it work out for us sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I guess beats me. I've had this. I don't know if it like didn't have coffee and didn't have the liqueur in it or not, but it's pretty amazing. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, tiramisu has the alcohol content so negligible they'll give it to kids, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly like...
Yeah, you're not going to get hammered because you had a tiramisu.
Right. I mean,
Right.
technically, if you, like, ate a lot of it, you might get it alongside with diabetes.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like if you eat enough bananas, you die of radiation poisoning, but it's like 600,000 bananas.
Right.
Yeah. Holy crap, I was fuzzy.
Yeah. You do.
Twitch went fuzzy, and I was like, did my camera go fuzzy? And then no, it was not. It was Twitch. Okay, good.
No,
Anyway, yeah, strangely enough. Anywho, enough about that. We have more things to talk about. One thing I just want to talk about really quickly.
Okay.
My kids watched Interstellar with their mom when they were there with her last week.
Okay.
And they were talking about Interstellar.
Yeah.
And they're like, have you seen Interstellar, Dad? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, wait, your reaction seems pretty negative. Do you not like it? I'm like, not really. They're like, oh, okay. And I was like, we should watch Inception. That's a better Christopher Nolan movie in my opinion. So we watched Inception last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And oh man, they liked it a lot. My daughter especially. You know how it starts out with Leonardo DiCaprio washing up on the beach, and he goes into the house with the old guy, and he's like, "Are you here to kill me?"
Yeah.
And none of it makes any sense. You don't have any context for it.
Uh-huh.
But then when they end it with that scene, my daughter like sat up in her chair. She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yes, got her." She was so blown away by that. She's like, I have context for this now, and it's actually good. Whoa. Yeah, so they had a good time with it.
Fair enough. I mean, if I was going to go and tell my kids, hey, here's a better Christopher Nolan movie, I would have gone with Memento.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, Memento's a little intense for like a 12-year-old, I think.
Ah, that'd be right. That's what therapy's for.
That's what she kept saying too. She's like, "Man, this Cobb guy needs so much therapy," and I was like, yes, he does. You are correct." But we weren't as therapy conscious as a culture when this movie came out, so nobody says that.
True.
Yeah. And the other quick thing I want to say is that Marion Cotillard is in the film as Leonardo DiCaprio's dead wife, right? And hallucinations and projections and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy crap, I did not realize how much she looks like Ella Purnell. So, yeah, Ella Purnell is this. She's the. You watched Amazon the Fallout?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Lucy.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Now, to the point that I was like, is she secretly Marion Cotillard's daughter? I was so taken away. Just the way their eyes are, especially, look so similar. And then I Googled it, and they're like, no, they're not related. And I was like, ah. I thought I'd uncovered something here. Anywho, that's all. Good stuff.
Fair enough.
Uh-huh. Anything you have to talk about?
Well, I mean, just going off Memento.
Yes, good one.
I was. Do you remember when I first watched Memento? Because I had not seen it when we started the podcast.
Nope.
I'm gonna assume you don't remember this. So I'll retell you the story you lived through, which was I could not get it on streaming, and I had to buy a DVD and a DVD player to watch it.
That's right. That's right.
And
that's so cool.
I was going through YouTube the other day looking like they have free movies that you can just watch, and I've complained that the free movies are available in 1080p, but the movies you buy aren't. It's great. And I was like,
right. All
of these movies are shit. Shit, I've never heard of. Shit. Oh, Memento.
It's on there.
So,
with commercials, right? That's how they do it.
I assume if you're not a YouTube Premium subscriber, but I am, so no commercials for me. So.
Right. So it's just basically a free movie service in addition to no ads on YouTube. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1080p and everything. Good golly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Good job. Memento's a good one. I'll show it to my kids at some point because you're right. It's excellent. It's so cool.
It's such a good movie, but yeah, wait till they're like 18. I think there's a lot of a lot of violence and stuff in Memento.
Yeah, a lot of people getting shot in the face. It's not great.
Yeah, and you don't want your kids growing up wanting tattoos, maybe. Maybe
not. Yeah. Oh, the other thing about Inception is getting the sound balance in that stupid movie. I'd forgotten. Like Christopher Nolan films, getting the sound balance right on, a sound bar, but my sound bar in particular is a frigging nightmare. Man, for the first 10 minutes, it was like everything was loud and you couldn't hear the dialogue. And then I switched some stuff around and now we could hear the dialogue, but the sound effects were crazy quiet. And I was like, oh, this is so hard. About 30 minutes in, we figured it out. But I was just like, I never have to do this except in Christopher Nolan films. I don't know what's going on here.
So I have a cheap pair of, I think they're Logitech speakers for my computer. They're not super great. There's left and right, and that's about it. They're, I swear, anything from more than 15 years ago in movies, I have to turn so far up to hear the dialogue that I feel like I'm blaring for the music. It's like... Yes, so we will go and find the treasure. Dun dun dun! It's awful.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in the late 2000s. Sorry. I have headphones on. It was okay. Yeah, late 2000s, man. 2005, 2012, right around there. For some reason, there was this thing with sound mixing being all screwed up. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, seemed to be better. Later. Although Dunkirk had issues. Dunkirk was 17? Yeah. It's another Nolan film.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it still happens. It's just less frequent. It's less universal.
Yes. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man,
anyway,
Christopher Nolan makes a movie every 3 years. Except for
He's on a schedule.
except for when he does Batman, because then he does it every 2 years.
The Batmans take less time to do.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that makes sense. He's got most of the same cast, and like the setting's not that different. And,
True.
Yeah.
True.
Hmm.
Still absolutely blows my mind that Batman Begins and like Christian Bale as Batman did so well, and DC was like, "Oh man, we need to copy Marvel. This Endgame thing's really good. Let's reboot our highly successful franchise." It's still to this day, I question it.
Yeah. I mean, Nolan was done.
Yeah, but
They didn't tell him like, you can't make any more, Christopher. Yeah. But I mean, they didn't make it Marvel. The Batman movies that come after are grimdark as hell.
Which ones?
They weren't copying Marvel, like the Batman v Superman film.
No, but they were trying to copy the success of Marvel and have a greater cinematic universe.
Not the tone.
No,
Just trying to build a larger connected thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the original the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are also dark, if they were going to cancel it and then be like, all right, but we need to do it dark, it's like, what? You need to do it again, but worse.
I know, and that's what I didn't understand, is why you were saying they were canceling it to try to mimic the MCU. You meant the interconnectedness of the thing, not the tone.
Not
yes,
the tone.
Got it.
Not explicitly the tone.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, and it's funny because everyone's like, the darker Superman and the Batman with guns doesn't really work for me. It's just too dark. And then we get the Batman with Pattinson that's insanely dark, and it's like, this is great. So I don't know, man.
Best Batman movie ever made.
Yeah. So I really don't think it's ever a function of, is it dark? Is it light? Is it funny? Is it serious? It's just, if you do it well and however style you want, it's good.
Yeah, I think the difference is, the one that I can see is, Christopher Nolan made movies to stand by themselves, and the Batman was also made explicitly to stand apart from all of the other DC projects. Like, it's like, this Batman is not going to show up in Justice League or The Flash or whatever. It was deliberately made to be by itself. So they made something good, and it works by itself. And that's the difference. Everything else is made to try and fit into something else. Like, they're all trying to make puzzle pieces instead of a complete puzzle.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
It
was a mess.
If you can't do it, don't.
Yeah, it's harder than you might think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, good. What else? Oh, I finished Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh, you did you?
I did. Played it on stream. 2011 Xbox 360 era game, ported to PC. It's on Steam now.
Oh, whoa. You're skipping over a section there. Not only was it a 360 game, it was then ported to the Nintendo Wii, which they then ported to the PC to make the director's cut. Like, that's the chain of events. Yeah.
I did not know it was on the Wii. That sounds terrible.
Uh-huh.
Dude, Nintendo's insistence of putting, like, AAA games like that on their consoles is like, you guys, stop it. Like, I know you want that market, but your hardware is intentionally garbage for that kind of thing. Yeah.
So what's the... There's something coming out on the Nintendo Switch 2 that is like...
So, yes.
Right in that vein.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk's probably it.
2077.
Yeah, that's in there.
That's it. So I've been talking to my brothers who are big Wii fans, and they're like, or Nintendo fans, and they're like, no, the Switch 2, they're totally changed their hardware architecture so they can do like AAA games on there now. And I'm like, I will believe it when I see it.
Look, I have no doubt that they can do it. I just don't know that it will run well, right? Like,
right. Okay, when I mean do it, I mean actually do it, not try to do it and fail miserably.
Well, look, I mean, the way Cyberpunk 2077 came out, could the Switch version really be any worse than the launch version on PC?
Works for me. If you're talking about the launch version on console, then I'll agree with you. But there were PC users who didn't have any trouble with it from launch date.
That's true.
I was
more or less in that position as well. Like, it was.
Yes. Right. But if you're trying to play it on a PlayStation, it was a really bad time. Right. Right.
Also, I'm looking at all of the launch titles for the Switch 2, and not a single one of them is an original game.
Yeah.
Which I think that's pretty awful that they have such little faith that people will want to buy new games. Like, I remember when the 360 and the Xbox One came out, and it was like, here's a new game, new property. Sure, there were
Yeah.
sequels and stuff like that. Like, I think for the Xbox One, Dead Rising 3 came out as a launch title, and it was, okay,
Right.
it's a sequel. Great, you need to have some of them. But there are only 16, 20, 25, 26 games, it looks like, that I can see available for pre-order. And none of them are new.
Right.
Yeah. It's...
Well, yeah. It's tricky because it's complicated, right? Because on one side, it's like you guys are so lazy, you're not willing to take any chances. But on the other side, a lot of the time, new IPs hit their audience, and everyone's like, I don't know what this is. I'm not spending money on it, right? And then it fails.
Yeah.
People like familiar things. They want to buy Mario again for the 20th time. You know what I mean?
Suppose.
They want to buy another Zelda game.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. They should still try. They should still try for new IPs and create new stuff for us because sometimes they hit. But it's so much an easier gamble for them to just throw another Mario game at us because that's going to sell.
Yeah, just bundle it with the console then.
Like bundle the new IP with the console?
Yeah, force players to play it. They'll like it, trust me.
Ooh. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
And then you can blame the price being that high because it's like, oh, but you get a free game. Like,
yeah. It's tricky. I don't know. Like, I still can't just get past the fact that the new Switch looks like the old Switch.
that it's physically similar.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. It's a little bigger.
It's a little bigger. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, the Switch is entirely a handheld console, and it has thumbsticks on the sides and buttons above and below the thumbs. Like, what else do you need? Like, you can't mix up that formula too much. But I recognize I am not the person who's playing that docked. And if it's docked, you should put it in a cupboard or something and not look at it anyway. So, who cares what it looks like?
Right. Very true. Very true. Yeah, we've kind of hit the position where form factor for gaming is what it is, and it's fine. And trying to reinvent the wheel is not going to result in anything better.
Yeah, I mean, the PlayStation 5 looks like Seto Kaiba from a certain angle when you stand it up.
That is true. That is true.
So that's
a different form. So, yeah, the hardware is not all that different, but they did change the form factor quite a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of those fin blade things are necessary? Like, if you could just take them off and have a black box, do you think people would?
Right. Probably a lot of people would.
That's what I think.
So yeah, I guess my point is Nintendo could have made it look different and not changed any of the hardware, and then it would have been new, right? It would have been more shiny for the audience. But I'm sure they had that conversation and were like, screw it. No, we're not doing that.
I bet they had a conversation where it's like, okay, we can change the look of the Nintendo Switch 2 to be totally unique, or we can make it a little bit bigger and keep all of the production facilities we have that roll out like vinyl skins and wraps for it, and just have them make it slightly bigger.
Save a ton of money that way. Yeah.
And just sell people Zelda skins and stuff like that for it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, good.
So I went and saw Mission Impossible. Do you want to talk about it?
You know what's most annoying about this? If you Google why is Mission Impossible releasing so much later in the United States, it's like, oh, you're asking about why it was delayed. You're asking why COVID caused the movie to be delayed by 2 years, huh? Here's all these articles about that. And I'm like, no, this is not the question that I asked. You can't find it. You cannot find it.
So, on a podcast I was listening to recently, it's a new episode, not one of the old ones. They were talking about, they have some like insider knowledge for why movies do this, which is basically, if you consider America to be the prime market for movies, like that's where it's going to sell the most, you need the like hype or interest going into it to be as big as possible to get the best opening weekend, right? And it turns out releasing in other places first will spread the word of mouth and like reviews and stuff, and you'll get more sales in America if you do it. So that's it. Everyone else gets it first so that they can look better on release day in America.
But it's weeks, man. Forget it showed up in Japan on May 5th.
Did it show up there, or did it like release wide? Like those are two different things. Was there a premiere there, or those are two different things.
I mean, if you go to the wiki page for it, it shows release date Japan, May 5th. Dead Reckoning Part 2. It's the longest stupid movie title. Oh, it's called The Final Reckoning now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're not Part 1 and Part 2. No, not at all. It's Dead
No, not at
Reckoning
all.
and Final Reckoning.
Yeah, so look, it says release dates May 5th, 2025 in Tokyo, and then it goes May 23rd, 2025 in the US, and everyone else can go fuck themselves, apparently. That's amazing. It doesn't say any other countries, even though other countries have different release dates.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Because you have a different release date than that.
Sure.
Yeah, world premiere in Tokyo.
Hold on. Japan Today says the film, the final in the series, opens Japan May 23rd. It's Cruise's 25th
What?
visit. So I think the premiere in Japan, like they had
So the world premiere in Tokyo, yes.
was on May 5th.
And then it looks like it was at Cannes on May 14th.
Right, but it doesn't open for another 3 days in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Internationally, it was released in Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, India, South Korea on May 17th. And then the UK gets it on May 21st. And then the rest of the world gets it on the 23rd.
And then you get it on the 1st?
Yeah, then I get it on August 3rd.
2028.
Movies don't come to Utah that early. Right. We get them late. They have to come on the wagon train.
Yep. They take the Oregon Trail in reverse to get it to you. Yeah.
Dude, I didn't realize this was set to release in August 2022.
What? Really?
And then it gets delayed to November, delayed to July 2023, delayed to June 2024, and then delayed again because of the SAG-AFTRA writer's strike. Holy crap.
Okay. You mean like the pair of movies was supposed to come out in 2022? Because the first one didn't
Yeah,
come out
yeah.
until 2020. Yeah.
When was the first one exactly?
2023, June.
Yeah.
Oh, July in America.
Yeah. Anywho. Right. So it's coming. It'll be here in 4 days. So I'll go see it. We can talk about it then.
4 days? I thought you said you get it on the 3rd. Do you know
I don't know. I know. I'm exaggerating for being angry effect.
Okay.
So mad. And I mean, I don't know. No one's talking about it.
No, yeah.
Like on the message boards that I'm on where people talk about movies and stuff, no one's like, holy crap, did you see people liking it in Australia? No one's saying that. It's not working the way they want it to work.
Yet they keep doing it. This is not a
I know.
new phenomenon for us.
I know. It's so fine. Fine. And then Somicron realized, as he was about to go to this movie, that he hadn't seen the first one.
That is true. I had somehow skipped Dead Reckoning and booked my ticket for the Final Reckoning.
How did you... I guarantee we talked about it on the pod when it came out.
Someone go back and watch the episodes from 2-3 years ago. I I've never seen this movie.
That's incredible. I must have just been one of those times where I'm like, I saw this movie, and you're like, neat, and then I talk about it a little bit. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we can talk about the first movie a little bit if you want to do that, and then give people a refresher.
Sure. I watched it at 1.3 speed.
That's so good. So all the music's just a little off. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's rushing their dialogue.
People are walking a little fast.
Fight scenes are very snippy, though. I'll give it to them.
Oh my gosh. Good. Good.
Yeah.
What do you think about like the AI aspect of the movie?
I don't care.
Like-
Was.
Yeah.
In my head, my memories of all the Mission Impossible movies are a very overly complicated spy thriller, right? Like, who's on whose side? People are ripping off masks and all that stuff.
Betrayals.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about the villain by the end of it. Like, by the time I'm done, I'm like, that was fun. That was a Mission Impossible movie. I saw Tom Cruise do some cool stunts. I had a good time. Couldn't name any of the other villains besides Solomon.
Yeah. The Jared Harris character
Sure.
from Fallout.
Yep.
Yeah, he's great.
So the idea that it's an AI that just knows everything, it's fine. No complaints. I mean,
Just kind of standard fare for Mission Impossible is what you're saying.
kind of. I mean, I maybe have some complaints at the end of this movie. Like, if I wanted to really sit down and think about it, the end of the second one. So I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, just because, like, it's an AI. It came from somewhere and has to live somewhere, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of proactive engagement. It's just like, oh, we need to do a thing, and that thing is never like just go and find the server that it's on, because it can. It's a like Ultron thing where it's like it lives in the web now. It's like, how?
Yeah,
How does it
yeah,
live
yeah.
on the web?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's distributed through servers in 1,000 different data centers throughout the world.
Sure, but at the same time, if you then cut the power grids or something, you would
Yeah,
kill
to
it.
all of them.
Right, but you didn't even have to. You just like, if it's 1% is on one server, turning off one server, you've killed 1% of it. Just
Yeah, but it's redundantly distributed, right? So it's got its systems redundantly across all these servers. You kill one and it's like, meh.
right, but then you turn off another and another and another. You don't have to do them all at the same
Yes.
time. You can get.
I know,
it
but that's a boring movie, right? Let's go to
It
the
is.
server in Mumbai now. No, let's go to the movie in Tokyo. No, let's go to the server in Sydney. It's like, oh boy, all right. We've seen one server and we've seen them all, you know?
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, other than that, it's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And then basically Tom Cruise gets a chance to do some crazy stunt that everybody remembers and everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was so good in that film where he goes off the mountain on the motorcycle and then parachutes down to get on this train and just goes, whoa, bam, right through a window at like 80 miles an hour.
My first thought was his legs are broken.
Yes, undoubtedly.
Yep, his legs are so broken.
It's the funny. I laughed so hard in the theater when that happened because it comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, Cruz is out there somewhere with a parachute trying to get on the train, but you're in the train. Mm-hmm. And then he's just like, whoosh.
Yeah, it's also a steam train where the villain has like removed all the operators, and I'm like, okay, so what's feeding the boiler? Like,
Maybe it has enough juice to get where they want it to go.
sure.
I mean, I don't know.
The fact that this train just keeps speeding up is a plot point
Yeah.
in the movie, and the fact that you have to constantly feed the fire, otherwise, or like, you know, it's a steam engine.
Isn't there? I know, but isn't there a dude up there?
Yeah, but the villain like kills them all and like kicks them off the train, and then he breaks the handle so you can't like stop it, like
Break
it's
it.
an open valve
Yeah.
or something. It's like,
Right, right.
Could have just made it not a steam train.
I think they've already done a regular train before, though. They're trying to mix it up. But yes, you're right.
Probably.
You're right.
But also with that, like the reason why some trains have to slow down for bends is because if they're going too fast, they'll topple, and then he like jams the throttle open, and like, okay, well we found a bend where you're gonna be able to jump on. You just have to get there in time. The train hasn't slowed down for the bend, and it's like, and then it took it with like barely an inconvenience to the people on board. Here's what I mean when I say Mission Impossible movies are fun, but I don't think about them because if you pull them apart, they come so very apart.
Right. Definitely true. Just don't think about it too much.
Mission Impossible movies are very well made Fast and Furious movies. That's my hot take.
Yeah. I can get on board with that. I like that idea. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And it's not always cars. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes.
Yeah. This is the one where he's with Haley Atwell, and he's like, "You have to come with me," and she's like, "I don't trust you." And then he's like, "I gotta get a car," and it's like this tiny,
it's a
2-door Peugeot something.
Yeah, it's a Fiat 500.
Yeah.
Which I think they like. He like taps the gas or whatever and like backs up and like hits something. I think it's supposed to look like a really dingy car, but they've souped up on the inside or whatever. That was kind of fun. Like, I had a good time. you know? Especially because it's parked in between two supercars, and he's like, oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good moment. He just rolls with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Mission Impossible does chase sequences really well. There's always multiple chase sequences in these films, whether on foot, whether in a car, on a train, in the air, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember liking Haley Atwell wearing a Vanessa Kirby mask as the White Widow.
Right, yeah.
And having to be the White Widow, but it's Vanessa Kirby playing Haley Atwell, playing a character that's playing the White Widow.
It's very many layers deep, and it's good.
It's very funny. Yeah. It's good, some good stuff for sure. Yeah, and like when the train's off the edge of the cliff and they have to climb. There's a lot of stuff in there. And then Ilsa dies. She gets stabbed in a sword fight on a bridge.
She dies twice in this movie.
She dies the first one.
She dies right at the start, but it's like 10 minutes later. It's
when
like
she's in the desert.
Yeah, they immediately fake it out. Like they immediately tell you, because like Ethan Hunt like breaks into like the top security meeting and gasses them, and they're like, "We know you're upset, but she knew the risks," and he's like pretending that she's dead. And at that point, you don't know that she's not dead. And then like 4 minutes later, they're like, cut back to him putting her on a horse, being like, "This time you stay dead, you pretend you're dead, you get out of here." And then she shows up in London being like, "Couldn't help myself." You know?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And then she dies on a bridge. But again, it's been faked out so much that I was like,
Yeah. I was willing to bet, you know. So look, if I'm not even willing to bet this is the final Mission Impossible movie, there might be another one, and she might show up in that. You know.
Totally.
They'll just do a prequel. You know.
Even if it's in a further chronology in the story, they can get away with it 100%. All right, good stuff. So next week we will have our Mission Impossible Final Reckoning discussion.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to be too much different than the discussion we just had. But it's fun. It's fun. It's good summer movie stuff.
I will say I enjoyed Final Reckoning. Like this.
Okay, good.
There's some great bits in it. I really like some bits. Yeah. Alrighty.
All right. Hero won a GSL. Oh, dang.
Oh, right. Hero won a GSL. That's a thing that happened.
It's the first time a Protoss has won a GSL since Hero won the GSL. like 2 years ago.
But how far behind? Like, how long since before that?
I don't know. I hope you're pulling it up.
I am looking, yes. GSL series. Let's see. Where are we? There's so many tournaments. Okay, so Hero won in 2025.
Yes, he did.
And then he also won in 2022. Oh, it was only like
Yeah.
2 seasons before that Zest won.
Nice.
And then 3 seasons before that it was Trap.
Okay, so Protoss is doing all right.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Maybe. Oh, hold on. That's a super tournament. That doesn't count, does it? Oh, so Hero Zest also won a super tournament. That doesn't count.
No, super tournaments don't count. Never. No.
Okay, so it's Hero in 2022, and then that's a super tournament. 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 That's a super
I
tournament.
know. Remember when they were winning every super tournament? It was the best.
So before 2022, it was Stats in 2017.
Okay. Good grief.
So 5 years with 3 tournaments a year. That's 15 tournaments went by before Protoss could win one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's tough out there, man.
It's tough.
It's tough out there. All right. So congratulations, Hero. I'd like to see another Protoss pull this off at some point, but I'm not holding my breath.
I mean, here's the thing. This year we're getting 2 GSL's tournaments, and the next one starts in a week.
Yeah.
So Hero's gonna be in it. So are all the other players who were in this one, except for like Raynor and Clem, because they're going home. They're just like, yeah, I'm not sticking around.
Rainer's like, meh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Hero will probably win again.
Sounds like it. What's annoying about Raynor, and I talked about this a little bit with you previously, but I just want to say two of the maps he dropped. One was Classic was going hybrid sky toss and had like 8 carriers and a bunch of ground stuff. And Raynor lost his army and then remaxed on ultras. And State said, how is he going to handle Classic's carriers if he's remaxing on ultras? And then he didn't, and he died. And I was like, huh.
Did you feel so seen in that moment?
I felt incredibly seen in that moment. I was like, I laughed. I laughed so hard. I was like, Raynor, he's been watching my streams.
That might be the problem.
And then the other game against Gumio on Persephone, where Gumio just goes race car mech, or battle mech as they like to call it, and Raynor made no slowing, abducting spellcasting at all. No fungals, no abducts. He's just chasing this race car mech around with roaches and ravagers and broodlords, and I'm like, this has never beat race car mech in the history of anything.
Nope.
The reason it's not popular is because it's easy to beat if you just do the right thing, and you're not doing the right thing. Anyway, it was really dumb. I don't get it. I do not get what's going on with Raynor at GSL. Because again, if he just loses because he gets outplayed or gets tricked or something, like, doesn't know what's going on. But this is him knowing what's happening and just making the wrong call in 2 separate maps.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
There's not much more to say to that. You know, just don't make ultralisks. They suck.
Yeah.
And then don't just chase race car mech. Like,
right.
They're faster than you are. So don't chase.
They're faster than everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's what's going on
Good.
with StarCraft.
It is. Protoss fans everywhere rejoice mightily.
How long until DreamHack Dallas?
I feel like it's usually May, isn't it? Soon?
It is. Oh, it's this weekend.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. Okay. Brackets have not populated yet, so we can't talk about that. Notable participants to be determined. Cool. Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll do it. Sounds good.
All right.
All right, Warhammers.
Warhammer. What did we read, Falcon?
We read Honourbound by Rachel Harrison.
I love
Severina Rain book.
Yes. The cover says a Severina Ray novel. There are no other Severina Ray novels. Hopefully she's
Yeah.
doing more, because I enjoyed this book. And there is a short story um, with Severina Rain, but it's to me it feels like putting part 1 on the end of a movie that has not been greenlit for part 2, you know, or like
Yep.
see you next time in the
Totally.
final. This is a Severina Rain novel, the only Severina Rain novel.
No, none are planned or scheduled at all. Yeah.
I mean, I hope we get more. I like this book, so
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So Severina Rain is a commissar. It's your introduction to
Mm-hmm.
a much more normal commissar. What did you think?
It was good. I thought it was great. I thought it was good to get the perspective of a commissar who's not Caiaphas Cain for the first time.
Uh
Which,
huh.
again, we talked about this. I'm doing my whole Warhammer experience backwards.
That's
I'm being
fine.
introduced to the alternate version of the thing, and then I get introduced to the actual thing.
Well, I mean, sort of. You still got
Sort of.
Eisenhorn, right? Relatively soon. For
That's
40K.
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got Inquisitor stuff straight up.
Uh huh.
What an Inquisitor is. So is there an alternate Inquisitor story that I haven't read?
I mean, Amberly Vale is in a bunch of the Caiaphas Canes, and she's not a psychopath like Eisenhorn. She's still a psychopath, but
Yeah. I was gonna say. I'm
uh,
just, is there a Caiaphas Cain version of an Inquisitor? Not yet.
there
So when
is.
that happens, I'll be able to read it and be like, yes, I understand
So I have a
what
book.
we're doing
I
here.
have a book over there that does make mention. It's a Rogue Trader, the Rogue Trader book from like 1963. They did a reprint. I don't have a 40-year-old book on my shelf. Um, and in it they make mention of an Inquisitor called Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that might be the Caiaphas Cain version of an Inquisitor.
It sounds like it. Did you say 63?
Yeah.
Did you say 63 was 40 years ago?
It might have been 19. I might have been thinking of 83. I'm not.
Okay.
That's
I was like, are they? I didn't know they were writing books in 63. Again, I don't know. I'm not
no,
saying that
no.
like I know.
I don't think it was 63.
Okay.
Let me pull out when Rogue Trader came through. And also, I'm gonna search for Rogue Trader, and it's gonna give me the video game Rogue Trader.
Yes, it will. 100%.
Yeah, book. It's not helpful. Warhammer Rogue Trader by Rick Priestley. That'll do it. 87. Yes. Okay. 87. So it's a 38-year-old book.
Yeah, okay. There you go. 40 years. 40 years was right.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll check that out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
rule book, so it's got a lot of rules and like art and tiny little snippets of fluff. Like, I've talked about this before, that like the idea of some Primarchs, this book predates some Primarchs. Like Lehman Russ is in this book. He has a picture of him, and he's just like a dude, right? Like he's not a Primarch, he's not a superhuman. He's just a very augmented guy who got like blown up, and he's like a commander of some forces, but he's not a Primarch, you know.
Oh, that's interesting.
I put that photo in the Discord. It'll be ages ago, but I bet I can find it.
Probably didn't have the context for that.
Ooh, it's gonna be tricky to find. Vamp while I find this. Actually, I can probably find it easier on Google.
Probably. Yeah, I love the idea that the people in charge of the lore here are like, we need another Primarch. Where should we get one? Oh, I know, this Lehman Russ guy's cool. Let's promote him. Like, wait, what? Why?
I mean, kind of. That's kind of how it happened. There you go. I put it in Discord for you.
Okay.
Like, he was already a general, and so they just upped him to
Yeah.
Primarch
That's
status.
that's exactly what I said.
Right.
We'll promote him.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. There you go.
Yeah. No, I remember this photo. I
Yeah.
remember seeing it.
So that's
Yeah.
Lehman Russ in 1987.
That's so cool.
Here, I can show chat. There you go. That's what he looks like. He's he's seen better days. There's none of that space Viking stuff going on.
None of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But which like you can draw lines for like how did the Space Wolves get their culture? Like how did they decide to write that? And it's like, okay, this guy's name is already Lehman Russ. The Russ in like Russia comes from Kievan Rus, which is like it's Nords Vikings in Russia, right? And
Right.
and like I think at some point they had like their king or like their leader had their bodyguards were the Vilka Fenrica or the Vilka or something, and that's where Vilka Fenrica comes from for the Space Wolves. It's like that's what they call themselves. So someone I don't know where the name Lehman Russ came from, but the culture of the Space Wolves is probably derided from his name when they decided to upgrade him to Primarch status.
Yep. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. World building is hard, man. It's complicated, especially when you're doing like a galaxy's worth of world building.
It's true.
Too much work.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Severina Rain.
Back to Severina Rain. Okay, so I asked, is this commissar an asshole? And you're like, yes. And I was like, okay. So I start the book, and there's this dude's perspective during a battle who's terrified. He's being chased by these sighted ones who are general chaos worshippers, blah, blah, blah.
They're a chaos cult, yep.
They're very boring. I mean, they try to make them different. Like, I've never seen this particular brand of chaos worship.
Yeah,
but it's all the same.
They cut out their eyes and replace them with crystal gems.
Right.
I think that's something we've literally seen in Eisenhorn, right? The people who can tell the future, but they cover their eye, and they like only take it off when they want to like scry the future or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So taking from that. Yeah, anyway, so he's like terrified for his life. He's running. He is mentally thinking about how he couldn't pull the trigger, and now his friends are dead, and it's like, oh, this is a really tough day for this guy, right?
Yeah, he just wants to live. He just wants to live.
Just wants to live, and so gets caught by the Chaos Worshippers. They're about to kill him or whatever, and then the Severina Rain shows up, Commissar, with these other soldiers and saves them.
And you're like, oh, he gets to live, yay! Only good things can happen from here.
Pretty much. And then she basically determines, like, so what's going on here? Yeah. And figures out that he's a coward and he can't shoot the enemy, and therefore he's of no use to anyone. So she shoots him dead. Yep. Point blank in the head.
Kind of an asshole, like you asked.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. And then this book's like, actually, this is a human being. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, okay. So she is, by comparison to what you've experienced, which is Commissar Caiaphas Cain, she is a complete bitch, right? Like, she has absolutely zero compunction in using these people. Like, Cain thinks he's using them. Like, Cain thinks he's using people to keep himself safe, but he's keeping everyone safe. He doesn't realize it. But she is actually like, what do I need to say to these people to rally them for this fight? Because it's their job to go in there and kill the doctors and the sick and anyone the sighted have armed. And it's like, there's a moment where all the commissars and like a general are like sitting around and they're like, we're noticing that we've had to put down a lot of our own troops. And it's like, yeah, our guys are kind of getting tired of killing the people they're supposed to be protecting. And they're like, so? Like, who cares what they want? And she's like, yes, I agree. Like,
yeah. It's very much her job to get them to be the edge. Like a lot of it, she talks to certain groups of soldiers as, you're the edge. I set you against the enemy. You cut them. You're at the front lines there. And you are you're a weapon of destruction, and that's all you are, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to the regiment in which she's attached, which is the Antari 11th Rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And they're considered to be wild folk, right? Like they're barbarians in the eyes of um, other regiments because they kind of relish in the fight and they don't really care for parade ground stuff, and they don't stand on ceremony, that kind of stuff. So
Right.
they're a rougher people, but what we learn is that Severina Rain even has her own little love buddy. That
Yeah.
she's like, no, I see them as people, and you know, she doesn't they're definitely in love. They definitely love each other, and they make a cute little
100%.
couple. But they never go
Yeah.
across the line of impropriety. Like
Right. They don't.
they don't.
There's a great. I loved the scene where dude she's in love with gets blowed up, and he's in his hospital room,
Oh right.
and
Yep.
she goes to visit him, and she's leaving the room, and one of the other soldiers who's friends with the dude that got blown up sees her leaving the room and sees all the rage in her eyes and all the like vengeance in there and the sorrow, and she's like, oh, okay, this is real. Like,
Yeah.
I know how you feel about this guy, and he said how he feels about you, and I didn't believe it, but okay, I get it. And that was good. I mean, it's not like she didn't say anything. She wasn't overtly expressing emotion, but just the look on her face was enough to be like, oh, she really cares about this dude.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was good. Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I don't think they really talk about, or at least directly mention, which is commissars are always pulled from other planets for the regiment in which they're attached to,
Right.
specifically because they think that like, if you're like if it's your kin, you're like you're not gonna be able to shoot them yourself. Like you have to be an
Yeah.
outsider. But like these are all people, man. Like these are all humans, and they get to know each other, and love can blossom on the battlefield.
It can, but I bet the policy works most of the time.
Oh yeah,
I bet
yeah.
most of the time,
Most of
the
the
fact that you're in a completely alien culture to your own really helps with this. Yeah.
But we also see that like Severina's sister also started to mesh a little bit with her regiment because the Cavron, is that what they call the Cavron?
Yeah.
Their commissars will line the inside of their like greatcoats blue to be like as like a show of solidarity or like unit cohesion, as a way to put it.
Yeah.
So like you can't not see these people as people at some point, right? Like everyone kind of does.
Yeah.
I've definitely read some Imperial Guard books where they're like, and here's the commissar who's going to be looking after some recruits. These are the 16-year-olds who are in like their first war zone because they're deploying the recruits. He's going to whip them. You know, it's like, oh, this guy is the asshole that you were looking for and has absolutely no redeeming qualities about him.
Yes. It's a scale,
Yeah,
right?
it's
It's
a
not a
scale.
binary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Severina Rain's on there somewhere, but not that deep onto it. Right. Yeah. So it's good. I mean, it's just kind of a general mystery story of, you know, what's going on here really in this crusade that we're fighting. My sister got executed for treason against the crusade. But I knew my sister, and that doesn't make any sense at all. And was there something else going on? But I don't have any evidence there's anything else going on. Because she didn't feel like she could tell me what was happening even after she was sentenced to death.
Yeah, and we get perspectives when she was like, when she comes out of the room where she's been given a moment to like talk to her sister before the day before she gets executed, and the Lord Militant there, the Lord General Militant, is like, "What did she say?" And she goes, "Doesn't matter. The words of a traitor are not to be heeded." Like she firmly roots herself in the Imperial doctrine of like traitors can't be trusted. These are heretics. They're beneath you. Anything they say is just a lie. Don't listen. And so even if she tried to slip her a message, wouldn't have worked. In that moment, she was entirely cut off from any kind of belief in her sister,
Right.
which is why she ends up leaving her that secret message. Very forward thinking.
In a watch that her sister almost chucked out the window.
Yeah, yes.
I was like, tough, risky plan there, sis.
Yeah, risky plan. But
But it works.
It works.
It works in the end. Yeah.
Ugh.
Right. So there's a secret message that there is this corruption within the Bale Stars Crusade, and it goes all the way to the top, and it's infiltrating every part of it in the leadership. And she tried to take it down, but turns out if you go after the king, you best not miss. And she missed, and then she gets executed as a traitor, which is how that usually goes. Yeah. So then she figures out what's going on. And I do like how that all kind of came out, because they've got this high general brigadier guy. What's his title? I can't remember.
He is Lord General Militant.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I believe.
Lord General Militant.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Lord General Militant.
So there's this legend where he fought, I don't know, one of the 9, whatever. Big chaos demon.
It's probably a psyker, but it's one of the leaders of this cult, right? Like,
Yeah.
the people they're trying to kill. It's like killing another general. Yeah.
Yeah. So he kills it, but he's super injured. But he drags himself back to civilization and back to the camp. And he should have died, but he didn't. And it just shows like his incredible fortitude and the faith that he has in the Emperor and everything else.
Right.
And yeah. And it's just, when that story came up, I was like, very 40K of you story. That's not how this works at all.
Incredibly 40K. You kidding me? The guy whose willpower kept him alive. That's Eisenhorn to a T, right?
That is a fair rejoinder, fair counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just mean
It's
not.
Hold on. Let me.
It's not grimdark enough.
Right. It is
Because Eisenhorn gives up his humanity for it, and this guy is apparently still the same dude, right?
What I'll say is, it's the kind of thing the Imperium expects its heroes to be like. Stalwart in the face of any enemy of any worm, doing their duty no matter what. It's 40K in the sense of, like, it's what they expect, not what's actually likely to happen, you know?
Yes, correct. It's too much of a happy ending, in my experience.
And it turns out it wasn't.
Right. Turns out that is correct. Because what Severina's sister had uncovered was that the doctor who treated this high general, Lord Militant, when he came back, was like, oh, like, he's alive, but he different.
Well, yeah, so it takes like a couple months, and what we learn is he basically has leukemia. He has like bone blight, and he's like, you have to give me 4 months with no. I'm not gonna give up command. You have to find a way to give me 4 months. You're like, well, I thought you could maybe have 2 if you like took it easy. And there's like this video log where it's like he's in decline. He forgets who he is or like how he got his stars. I have to tell him his own legend back to him. And then from her point of view, one day he's just fine, right? Like, he still has the bone blight, but he's now stronger than he was before he versed one of the 9. He is crazy muscular. He is so sharp now, and his eyes are unnaturally bright. It's like, that might be a clue.
They've always been blue, but they're like crazy blue now. Yeah, and she says, and he's got a mark of fate on his chest.
Yeah. A scar that's not a scar.
Right. So she's like, I think he's chaos infused, but I can't tell anyone because he's in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
So she dies. Poor Lud.
Yep.
Medicated Lud.
Lux?
It's the problem with the audiobook. You only get the word. You don't get to see it.
Right.
Just somebody write it down, please. Can't see it here. Someone's written up like some ramblings on it, and they usually like list the characters, and that's where I have to go to find it. But they're not here.
Yeah. It's no, I got it here. Luz. Luz. One of the two.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it. You don't know how to spell it.
They say Luz in the audiobook.
Luz.
Yeah.
Okay. I was saying Luz in my head too.
Okay. Nailed it.
Yeah. So yeah. Luz Doctor's dead, and somehow Severina's sister Lucia dug it up
Mm-hmm.
and like tried to go wide with it, but got caught first
Yeah.
and just got toasted.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
and then passes it on to her sister.
who, or over a decade later, eventually figures it out.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing is that their parents have two incredibly different backstories.
Mm-hmm.
The parents of these two kids, their mother was
Right.
this incredible, brave soldier with all these heroic acts under her name before she died.
Mm-hmm. She was the
And
previous Lord Militant. Yeah, Lord General.
yes, yeah.
So
Yeah.
this,
And like no one has anything but good things to say about her.
right. But their father was apparently a coward who got all of his men killed.
Right.
Which, if we go back to the guy who first died, what we're told eventually is that their father ran away from a fight because he couldn't bear dying away from his children. Like, he just wanted to live to go and see his kids. And, like, when you're, like, most of the point of view of the book is Severina's, how must that weigh on you, on top of everyone being like, oh, you've got coward's blood, you know? And you also just know that, well, he just wanted to see you before he died, and that's what everyone thinks is the worst thing possible. You know? Now, Falcon, you're a father. What would you do to run away and go and see your children
Yeah, right?
in an event?
Ugh.
Like, it's such a
Crazy tough.
deeply human thing that it's deliberately twisting the knife, 40K is here, to be like, remember, they think this guy is the worst thing in the world, you know? And that his children
Yeah.
should be condemned for it.
Yeah. And the reason they're not is because their mom kicked ass. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she's counterbalancing it somehow. And then Severina's sister gets executed for treason, and now all this extra weight is on her head. It was already bad enough.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And now it's even worse. Yeah, it's a tough road to hoe for Severina.
It's a tough Imperium.
Yeah. So anyway, she succeeds where her sister didn't, and part of it includes making the Lord Militant think that she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, fair
Sure.
enough,
Sure.
right? Although when they tried to pretend that she was dead, I was like,
She's not dead.
so this is called the first book in the Severina series.
Right. A Severina novel. The only Severina novel. Yeah.
And she dies in the first one. You're not killing off this character in her book. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Amberly Vale talks as Commissar Kane is dead in his first book. She's like, I'm writing up the memoirs of Commissar Kane after he died.
Yeah, but he doesn't die in the book, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, and then in the next chapter, it's revealed she's alive.
Alive,
And I was like,
right.
okay, they didn't like try to trick us for too long, I guess.
Right. Ugh.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like her plan is get the support of other leading people in the military, confront him in public, and then shoot him a lot. I was like, I don't. Okay, I guess it worked.
Right, yeah. It's a remarkably straightforward plan.
Uh huh.
You know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when, like, the accusation is like, oh, we will just show the recordings of Luz here, and she'll be like, he has a fate
Yeah.
mark on his chest, and it immediately sets up that, oh, he just needs to take off his shirt and prove that he doesn't have a chaos mark, and...
Yeah. And then Severina gets executed as a traitor, and you win, and it's not that big a deal. But he does have a fate mark on his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. So good.
So he gets taken down. Hooray.
Hooray.
Yeah.
What did you think about some of the supporting characters? We also get point of view from a stim-addicted Davin Wick,
Uh huh.
and Lydia Zane, a Primaris Psycho.
Yeah. Epsilon level.
Epsilon level Primaris Psycho. Yeah.
So hang on. So my understanding in general of the term Primaris is referring to Space Marines.
So you ever have a conversation with someone that means really nothing? It's not important, but it sticks in your head for ages. I want to say it was like 4 years ago. I had a conversation in Discord. It's probably still in there. Well, it might not be because JLC, whenever he leaves, deletes all of his shit. where he swore up and down that Primaris Space Marines are called Primaris Space Marines because they're closer to the Primarchs.
No. Okay.
Right, because they have one of the extra organs that the Primarchs have. That stuck in my head, and because it's not true. Primaris just means, like, better. Or prime.
Or the evolution,
like,
yeah.
It's just the way the Latin or the High Gothic conjugates, because there are also planets that get the designation Primaris. You know, that's it. So a Primaris Space Marine is just a better Space Marine. The Primaris planet is probably just the one that the capital's on.
So what's a Primaris Psyker?
It's a Psyker who is, you know, conscripted into the Guard, right?
Okay. So
there are Psykers who are conscripted in the Guard. They're just Psykers. They get, like...
Okay.
They have handlers, people who, like, shoot them if they get a bit twitchy, that kind of stuff. Primaris Psykers are those that have proven themselves capable to work more independent. They're just a better Psycho. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right, fair enough.
So they're a step up from sanctioned Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta feel bad for Zane, though, man. Because she's like, I manifested my psychic powers when I was a kid. And everybody's like, burn the witch, leave her in the woods. And she's like, well, this sucks.
Shave her head. Yep.
Yeah. And then she ends up a leashed dog in the Imperium. And nobody really thinks of her as a human. They just use her against their enemies. And once she's all used up, she's done. And she knows that. This is all she ever has to look for. Being a gun. It sucks, man. It's very 40K. It's very appropriate.
It sucks. And, like, all the other people in the regiment, like, unlike Commissar, she's not sent to an outside regiment. She's sent back to her people.
Yeah.
The people who very explicitly despise her, and they all set up their tents in, like, a big circle away from her, being like, this will keep us safe from, like, her. And the closest she has to, like, a happy moment is when the stim addict refers to her, not intentionally to, as kin, and she's like, oh, kin. And, like, the next time she sees it, she's, like, telepathing one word to kin. It's so good to see you, kin. I have kin. I have family for the first time.
And he's still like, no, I hate you. You're a witch. Yeah.
We're both in chains, but I'm going to sit as far this way on my seat as possible.
Yes. It is the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and she has an interaction with another psyker, Chaos Psyker, who's like, hey,
right,
like, you chained yourself, but man, if you were free, you could do some cool shit. She's like, nope, no way, I don't want to do any of that stuff. But there's still the temptation. She's like, you know, that's true, actually. I could do some pretty crazy stuff.
Right.
But she's also afraid of what happens if she does let go.
Yeah, she finds stability in, like, the Emperor, which is great. Like, she just refuses to break. It's like, I think it's neat to have a book to show where just, like, conviction in the Emperor does work, right? Like, as a system, there are merits to it other than just like, oh, it's 40K and people need to be dogmatic, you know?
Yeah, it's functional for her.
Yeah. I do wish we got a little, maybe we'll get it in the next Severine and Rain book, about her birds that are just cawing free fall constantly, and it's like, you're seeing birds everywhere saying you should mention that to someone, but she can't because the commissar will shoot her.
100% will shoot her, no questions asked.
Yeah
So she's real sad. The stim addict is sad. But just real going back to Sarek. So Sarek is literally the reason the Inquisition exists, right? Like, to prevent this kind of thing from happening, because it has really terrible far-reaching effects and kills a lot of people and really hurts the efforts of the Imperium. Where the hell were any of them? There's not an Inquisitor in this book.
That's true. There are no Inquisitors in this book.
That's all.
Although there might be an inquisitorial agent in it, because they find these cloaking like sound muffling devices on the sighted, and they're like, well, we need to show this to someone who might know what it is, and he goes, oh, I know what those are, but only
Yeah.
people well above our pay grade use them, and it's like hint hint hint. He used to work with an inquisitor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Inquisitors are everywhere, but they can't be everywhere. And that's kind of
I know,
how you
but
get
I'm just saying.
stories.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If an Inquisitor had heard that story, like this guy came back to us,
They would have investigated.
really super mostly dead, and now he's fine, they'd be like,
Well, here's the thing: if he, the thing that was killing him was like this disease that he didn't tell anyone about. They kept it hidden, right up
Yeah.
until he got a chaos gift to save himself. The idea that like some brave Imperial hero came back from the front half dead, but like they just patched him back up, is kind of a standard fare.
Yeah, but it's such an incredible story. They tell it all the time.
Right.
It's not standard fare.
But again, it's what the Imperium expects. It's what their propaganda reel tells them to expect.
I know, and the Inquisitors don't believe in that shit. They know what actually is going on out there.
I don't know. Here's the thing: they might hear that story and go, "Okay, it's just propaganda. Like it wasn't that bad. He wasn't that dead." You know.
I know, but some incredibly paranoid Inquisitor's like, I'm gonna take 10 minutes to look into this, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying. That's all.
Maybe.
That's all I kind of figured that should be happening at some point.
Fair enough.
Maybe not immediately, but he's been doing this for a long time.
True.
He's been a chaos-infused Lord Militant of an entire sector of the galaxy, like, propelling an entire crusade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like the initial reason they decide to look into what corruption is happening is that they pull these las guns off of sighted, and they're like, "This is a really nice las gun.
Yeah.
These are new model las guns."
What can you tell me about this? Well, I can tell you that no amount of requisitioning will get us these. You know.
Right. It's like, how are these guys getting them? Well, maybe they're pulling them off of dead soldiers they're killing somewhere else.
Yeah, but
But like they keep running into them, and they're like, things going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good
Which-
little. I mean,
It's a little bold from the evil to be doing this, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to arm our chaos worshiper psychopaths with the best hardware they can possibly get. Like, why?
right? It's like you could have sent them any rifles, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
I don't know. Evil is dumb sometimes. I guess that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Normally we get like in most stories we get like a full here's a breakdown of the bad guy's motivations and why they did every little thing. Here it's like, okay, we know that he wanted some like warp resonant crystals and some psyches to like build a fate engine, and he was doing that by either trading or fighting with the sighted, because he's still in charge of the crusade and the crusade has to fight the bad guys, but he was arming them. We don't get the nitty gritty bullet point list of how everything's supposed to work. So it's like,
Right.
what did he get in return for the guns?
Well, I think it's said that he's kept alive through certain things that he's acquiring through this whole process.
But
God, it's only
But
one
his-
little part at the end of the book where they say this.
my assumption on listening to this was that he was arming the sighted so that the sighted would, do better on their fronts, right? Which would give
And keep
him
the crusade going.
opportunities to attack certain targets, so he could
Yeah.
like plunder them. That's my assumption. I don't know that
Hmm.
it's explicitly spelled out in the book. Because as long as the crusade is going, he can like kidnap psyches from regiments,
Right. Right. He's got a lot of stuff that he can do because the crusade is ongoing.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I feel like there's maybe a little plot point where he could have quite literally reassigned them legitimately, but I mean, reassigning 70 psyches is probably going to raise some flags. That's the
Yeah.
kind of thing the Inquisition will notice, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But showing up at different camps individually and just being like, hey, we're requisitioning your psyker. No one's going to care about that.
Right. Well, they weren't even legitimately requisitioning it. They're just using that as
No,
like
they weren't.
to get close to it and be like, yeah, see, this is you should come along before we like shoot you with stun guns.
Right.
Yeah, but it's good. It's still a good book. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good. Definitely good writing, good character stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I
Nice
think,
job, Rachel Harrison.
yeah, I think it's time for the wheel.
Time for the wheel.
Time for the wheel. So,
There's Doc Bravo. He's very sad already.
yeah. Look, what I'll say is each week, everything that wasn't like we just read an Imperial Guard, so all these IG books, Gaunt's Ghost, Death World, they're all weighted slightly less than the
Okay.
other books. So we won't get an Imperial
Okay.
Guard book, and the if we look at the wheel, Space Marines and the Sisters of Battle and Chaos Space Marines all have the largest chunks because we haven't read one of those yet. So.
Mm.
Lots of great books. Obviously, if anything new gets added, it starts at a value of 1. That's why I think it's the Big Daka or Brutal Cunning. One of those Orcs books is technically slightly smaller than the other ones. But
Okay.
let's see what we get.
All right. Let's go.
Okay. Go on, Scott. Okay, so this... This is funny, because it's another Imperial Guard book.
Uh-huh. It's Dan Abnett.
It's Dan Abnett. It's another Commissar book.
Oh, it's a different commissar.
And it's also possibly the longest series on this list. On this wheel.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Or, let's look up Gaunt's Ghost and find out how many books it is. 'Cause, it's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and an anthology. So like 17 books. So we're not going to see the wheel for 4 months, 5 months.
I don't want to read the whole series.
Oh, it's so good though. It's so good.
I know it's Dan Abnett.
Look,
All right, cool.
Hold on, I'll give you the choice. We can read.
Okay.
We can spin the wheel again if you want. That's the choice.
I mean, how about we read the first one and we'll see how great it is, and then we'll decide from there.
That's kind of the problem. The first one's good.
What?
It's not bad. The first one's good. But
Oh.
it does take maybe 2 or 3 to get its legs under, where it's like, it really sets up some new characters in like the third book, and then they become staple characters in the rest of the series. So, you know, 3 books maybe might be the minimum we can do. Just, I mean, it's up to you. You can spin the wheel again. It's your choice.
No, let's keep it. I think we're good.
Okay. Dan Abnett.
All right. What's it called again?
Gaunt Ghosts. You might be able to get them in a...
Anthology.
Yeah, so the Founding Omnibus is probably what you want.
Okay. Library app broken? No, it's good. I loaded it up and it said try again, and I was like, what? What does that mean? It's an app. It's for the library. Sorry, what's the omnibus called again?
The Founding. It will contain First and Only Ghostmaker Necropolis and In Remembrance, which is the short story. So 3 novels and 1 short story.
Okay.
This is such a book to get right after Severina Rain.
What does that mean?
Not only is it a commissar, but the regiment in which he's attached to is also considered wild. Like they're wildlings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Although, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little brief, which is it's Gaunt's Ghost. So Ibram Gaunt is the name of the commissar, but he is unique in that he holds dual ranks. So he's the commissariat is parallel to the military, like the guard, right? And that's what gives them authority. They can kind of cut in wherever they want. Gort holds dual ranks in both the military and the commissar, so he's technically Colonel Commissar. So he is in charge of the regiment and the commissar for the regiment.
Okay.
Which, if
Dang.
he could execute himself if he wasn't following his own orders. You know?
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, I can actually buy the omnibus on Amazon for $20,
Go for
which
it.
is pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's a commissar, and then a guy with like wild shaggy hair and a beard holding a gun.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. That's it.
The Tanith first and only. So cool. Really like him.
All right. Done. Dunzo bunzo.
Done. First book came out in 1999. That's how long this series has been going for.
Holy crap. Yeah. Looks like the omnibus was put together in 2017.
Yeah. So just to be clear, that means this book technically predates the Horus Heresy.
Ah. Oh, okay.
So if I remember correctly,
mean-
the first book's kind of wild in scope.
Okay.
There's a thing that happens that you're like, wow, that feels really important.
Oh.
You'll get to it. You'll know it when you see it. It's hard not to.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think the Severina book has any wider discussions at all about 40K.
No.
Okay.
Does not.
And this one does, though, is what you're saying. It's got wider discussions and implications.
This one has something that sounds like it should be widely discussed. Like, wow, this feels like a really big thing for like a random guardsman to stumble across.
Yeah.
It's like if a guardsman stumbled into the end of the Penitent books. It's like, wow, what's he doing here? How come we're getting it from his perspective?
Yeah.
And then he deals with it, and then it's like, oh, okay, that changed nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
He's just there.
So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to it.
Okay. Sounds good. So we'll read the first book.
Yep. Cool.
Good. All right. Looks like we're good to go. Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here for another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. Streamed live on twitch.tv/Somicron. Also, you can find the VODs at youtube.com/@Somicron. Support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron or by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. We got new merch, by the way. You want to show the new merch?
Yeah, I will show the new merch. I immediately went to go look for it.
Oh, good.
So, boop. Let's have a look at the new merch. We have a new Terran Supremacy shirt, which is it's definitely not a Space Marine. It's a Terran Marine stomping
There's
on
a Terran Marine.
a roach.
Yep,
because
that's a roach.
roaches suck.
100%.
Roaches suck.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
They're bad.
go and
Yeah.
check it out.
Yes.
It's,
You can buy with your own currency, and I learned that British pounds are under United Kingdom instead of. I was trying like England. I was trying Britain. I was trying Great Britain.
right.
And it was under United Kingdom, and I was like, okay.
Do you think your dollars should be under American dollars instead of United States dollars?
Well, I mean, I went through 3 options of what England calls itself before I got to the right one at 4, and there's only 2 for the U.S. So yeah.
Right.
All right, so check that out. We'll be back again. More Warhammer, StarCraft talk, probably Mission Impossible stuff too. So
Woo.
set your calendars for then. And until next time, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Aki, for resubbing with Prime to the channel for 49 friggin' months. That is 4.08333 years repeating.
Obviously. Sorry, that's
We'll
a
catch you next-
that's a reference. It's Leroy
It is.
Jenkins. It's like the first start. It's like and we're at 3.3 repeating. Obviously.
Repeating, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Still good. All right, so until then, stay safe, healthy. We'll catch you, and goodbye.
Bye.